Well, welcome back. Oh my, wow. Okay, 226.7. So, apologies for the technical difficulties. I did actually get the broadcast back up, but for some reason it just wasn't showing up. And yeah, I don't know why, but it just wasn't. But now we are back and broadcasting ORL racing action. The stream died, then I bring it back up. It didn't actually stream. So here we are. Um, but we are heading towards final runs in this qualifying session. So, Rift with a 26.716 has provisional pole position here in Silverstone. And then Wigged with a 26.741, very close behind. Trent Newton now has a lot of time to find 2/10 to get to provisional pole position. And same with Grateful Dog and La Danger and Lockie, who are all very close in contention as well. So we have roughly a five-way fight here for provisional pole or pole position, in fact, with 2 minutes to go. So a lot of qualifying action left to be had, and it's the best bit. It is going to be the end of qualifying, and then we'll get to the racing action. But, Geordie, if you had to predict pole, who would it be?
I'm going to put my money on Trent Newton here. I think he looks solid to the middle runs, and he's got the advantage here, Lindsay, because Rift and Wigan Moist have already done their final runs. That's them. They're done. They don't have time to go out again. And I'm not 100% certain of this fact, but I think the F1 game does simulate track evolution. So as the session goes on, the track should get better. So Trent should, in theory, go faster this run, and I'm sure he'll know where he can find time just driving-wise on his lap. So if I had to put my money on anyone, it's going to Trent Newton. I think the Haas of, I think it's Grateful Dog, you said. I think he's a very good contender, but I had to put on Trent Newton because those front two have already done their laps. They're done. So unless Trent Newton makes a mistake, I think he's in the box seat.
Yeah, well, Trent is about to start his pole position attempt, and actually Rift has gone out again, but he doesn't have time to finish the lap, surely, and begin a final run. But 50
No, he
seconds
doesn't.
left on the clock. I reckon he's probably just giving someone slipstream in this session. But on board with Trent Newton for one last lap. A pole position opportunity awaits Trent Newton as he starts the lap at Silverstone towards turn one. Hold 7th gear. Keep it absolutely flat throughout. And then hold it tight to the left on the curb. And then get over, braking at the start of the left-hand side curb. 3rd gear, get it to the apex. Trent absolutely nails it now into the loop. Flick steer in to the apex in qualifying. And then now completely flat out. DRS now wide open down the Wellington straight. And then now into Brooklands and Luffield. Use the right-hand side curb. He's 600ths down on his previous best, so it was not a good first sector for Trent Newton, and now he's holding a gear high at Luffield as well. So maybe he'll be down through the middle sector. This is not looking like Trent will be your pole sitter in Silverstone, but he still has quite a while to go, and it's the big time gains that are coming up next on his lap. Too much inside curb there for Trent Newton through Cop's corner, but now through the left, through the right. Now just open it up, Chapel, and then pin the throttle onto the straight. What's the third sector split going to be? He's 2/10 down. He's going to need an almighty final sector of the lap if he wants to set pole position. I don't think he's on for it. He gives it proper commitment into Stowe. It was a lot of speed carried, and now into the Vale chicane. His battery is basically empty, and towards the line. What will it be for Trent? Will it even be an improvement as he rounds the final corner? By 1,000th, it is an improvement, but it's not enough. What about Grateful Dog? Is he up enough to steal the party from the Aston Martin garage? Can he stomp on their parade? Grateful Dog across the line. No, he can't. He loses a 10th and a bit in the final sector of his final flying lap. And that is his qualifying session over. Aiden is Raiden also up, but he's looking more likely to match his teammate as he rounds through. Club corner now across the line, 26.9. He does just about get alongside his teammate in P5. But that is qualifying done and dusted, and Rift is your pole sitter in Silverstone.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, look, Trent, I think that was an error through Brooklands. He just got a little wide on the exit, and of course that then makes the entry to left field really hard because you're on the inside. You're actually on the right hand side of the track already, over the curb for a corner, which you have to a long right hand corner. And for those corners, you need to open it up and carry speed throughout. So obviously, that hurt his run. Obviously, down the woodcut through to Cops, and obviously, Cops he took a little bit too much of that inside curb, got on the grass, and Magnus and Beckett's. I mean, he was fully committed. Don't get me wrong. And then through, I mean, as you said, through Stowe and Club, he actually made up all the time he lost. So, I mean, theoretically, if his first two sectors were as good as he would have hoped, he probably could have put on the front row. But it is what it is. It is only a preseason race, so I don't think he'll be too concerned.
Oh
about
my
it.
god.
As we have wet weather, Lindsay.
Silverstone wet weather. Who
where
could
have I
have
seen
guessed?
this before?
Yeah, where have I? Hold on, only every rapid tier 1 race at Silverstone in the last 3 seasons.
Also, the actual race
Yeah,
last
and
year
the
at
actual
Silverstone?
race, and pretty much most other Silverstone Grand
Yes, typical UK, just typical England things.
Typical
I
British
guess.
weather.
Yes, raining all the time. But the thing about weather now, Lindsay, is that there's no DRS. So you want to make an overtake, you have to be faster than the car in front of you by a lot more than what you need to be in the dry.
Or the car in front of you will
And
just fly off the track.
that is also true. But as the great Ayrton Senna once said, Lindsay, in wet weather, the cars essentially become equal performance.
So, Jordy, there's a problem with your statement. And I think you know what it is. The cars are already equal. But regardless, we are here for the 5 red lights in ORL pre-season. And we are underway for racing action as slow as they crawl off the line. Rift gets off to a good start. Wig can't get alongside, and we have a virtual safety car off the line because of Alpine.
Jetsuragi did not get off the line. Oh my goodness me! And Wigan Moyes has almost just hit the back of Trent Newton immediately. Jetsuragi has now gotten going. I'm not sure. He just didn't go. I mean, he might have had a technical problem or something like that, but Trent Newton has just got his way up to second place already. So great start by the Sauber. Very unrealistic position for a green tractor, by the way.
Yeah, Trent looking strong at the moment off that start. He bottled his final quali run, but he's an established driver within ORL, and yeah, he'll definitely be hunting the race victory here in preseason. He wants to make a statement before the draft, and I think this is going to be the time to do it. Wet weather is king, realistically. However you can drive in the wet, it really shows skill. And the one thing I'm actually... Oh, as we have green flag racing. We've gone green flags, and they're side by side. Trent is on the inside for Cop's corner. They're wheel to wheel in the wet conditions, and they're already wheel rubbing. Trent tries the inside. No, he backs out of it. He doesn't want to recreate 2021. And Rift goes off himself. And now Trent Newton moves up into P1, and now they're 3 wide towards Maggots, Beckett and Chapel, and Grateful Dog is side by side. He's on the outside of Wigged as they now go side by side through Chapel. The exit is going to be mission critical here for Grateful Dog if he wants to try and get the place. He's still drag racing. His teammate of Aiden is here as well, and Led Danger in the Mercedes. They're 3 wide. No, they back out. They're 2 wide into Stoke Corner. Danger making great inroads at the moment, and now the Haas teammates are side by side, as well as the Ferrari and the Haas of Connor Speed are side by side in the background as well, and now the 2 Haas's are wheel to wheel. And Aiden is raiding, gets the place on Grateful Dog. Danger still has a good run off the final corner. Trent Newton has run away 1.3 seconds, and Danger gets a move off Club Corner, moves up into P3, and now Wigged has had a move made on him from Aiden as well. He's falling down the order in these wet conditions. Grateful Dog next to get past him. So the order at the end of lap 1 is Trent from Rift, from Danger, Raiden, and Wigged.
Wow, that was absolutely staggering. Like, those 2 Hasses were absolutely going for it. Now the 2 Ferraris look like they're having a bit of a squabble. As Connor Speed is off the track. Connor Speed, should I actually say. Now Vipermon, the returning champion, is he going to make a move down the Wellington Straight on Connor into Brooklyn's corner? No, he's not. And I believe they're all on full wet tires. It looks like it's all full wet tires, at least from what I can see. Yep, they're all on full wet tires. So that's something else you need to keep in mind, Lindsay. If this rain is going to ease off, there's going to be a time, potentially, where they swap to the inters. Or do we see someone run the risk and potentially go, I think I can make these wets last and go to the dry. But that's if it does. We don't know what the weather's going to do. We're just commentators. We get to comment on what is happening live as Trent Newton has pulled a 2.8 second gap to Rift right behind him. Actually, Danger is now right on the back of Rift. So Trent Newton making very good use of these wet weather conditions. Danger is now right on the back of Rift. The two Hasses and Wigan Moist and McLaren have seemed to have calmed down. Actually, no, they have not, because Aiden is trying to defend from Wigan Moist. And I think, yeah, Aiden's just kept it. No, he's not. Here comes Wigan Moist down the inside into Cobb Corner as he's lost the rear. He's lost the rear of it as Wigan Moist has lost the rear, and that's going to cost him another position to the Hass of Grateful Dog. As that was very scary for Wigan Moist. You can't hold the brakes that heavily. And oh my goodness me, there is plenty of action going on here back in the pack.
Yeah, and good news. The Mercedes has a nose cone. So, it does have a front wing on his car, unlike qualifying. So, Jordan currently on the hunt on the Tier 2 champion from many, many, many moons ago, back when ORL was on F1 22. And Vipermon not having a fun time of things at the moment, still sits inside the top 10 as they're drifting their way around onto the Wellington Straight, but still nothing coming as of yet up down there. Danger, though, still very close behind Rift, but yeah, I'm surprised to see nobody start on the Inters because the wets won't be able to go the whole race. They just don't work like that. They wear very, very quickly. And also, the Inters are pretty much always quicker than the wets, no matter how wet it is on the F1 game, and they can go the whole race. So, potentially somebody could have made quite a staggering race result out of that one, but probably just unaware of the way the Inters work on this game. Still very, very new, and I can imagine dirty air in wet is probably causing them more problems than not at the moment as well as they try to figure that out. We're seeing a lot of drivers struggle once the track has gotten a little bit slippery. As Danger is going to pull to the right-hand side, but he can't get alongside Rift into Stowe, but Rift goes deep, much like he did on lap 1 at Cops, and now they're going to go side by side towards the Vale chicane. Danger trying the outside line. Rift is on the inside, and Danger gets the move done as they head towards Club Corner. Trent Newton continuing to stretch the gap, dominating by 5 seconds as of right now.
Yeah, look, Trent Newton's absolutely bolted here. He took advantage of that virtual safety car restart, and he has just taken off. So Trent Newton in a comfortable position right now. And you talk about the inter tires, Lindsay, but the thing is that the game has probably recommended the same strategy to everyone. So if everyone's on the same tire, then it's the same game for everyone. So obviously, does anyone take the punt on the Inter? I mean, we don't exactly know how long this rain is going to last. It could be predicted to last the entire race. We don't actually know. But Trent Newton has already pulled another half a second on Danger, so I think Trent's set in stone for now, unless he makes a mistake. But he looks to be pretty comfortable for now. And now, Danger down to Wigan Moist, all just kind of hanging together. I think Danger seems to be pulling away. Rift seems to be struggling in these wet conditions. And Lindsay, what I was referring to earlier about the sort of equal sort of performance between the cars and whatever is that more so in the wet, the driver can make more of a difference because whilst in the dry, it's a bit more setup reliant. In the wet, of course, it is setup reliant too, but a driver can have more of an influence. As looking at that rain, it doesn't. I mean, it seems to be coming down, but it doesn't seem to be too heavy. So I'm going to wonder if anyone's going to be willing to take a punt on the Inter tire. At least from what I know, the Inter tire seems to be the best tire option, as you have said.
Yeah,
And Grateful Dog is right behind his teammate. Sorry, just to cut you off there.
No, that's
he's
fine.
right behind his teammate. He's right behind his teammate, Aiden's Raiden. Potentially go for a move. Oh, as he chirped the rear brakes up there, going in to the Vale chicane. And now going to run through Club Corner onto lap 6 of 26. It's a short race here at Silverstone, only 26 laps. As it may seem like a fair bit, but it goes rather quickly. So, Grateful Dog is now half a second behind his teammate. Overtaking the rain is a little bit harder than it is because you don't have DRS. So, he's going to have to get right into the back of his teammate and try and make a move as, oh, look at Rift. He is sliding that car everywhere. Rift is really struggling in these wet conditions. And now, actually, Aiden is getting a lot closer to him now, Lindsay. He's actually only under 4 tenths. So see if he used the battery, and look at his battery on his steering wheel. He has got a lot of battery to play with. So he has potential to go for a move, and yeah, look, Rift struggling to turn the car in there. He's just struggling. I think Aiden's got to make a move here sooner rather than later. And in fact, I think he's going to do it right here, Lindsay. He's going to get on the exit of off field, put the power down, burn that battery on the right-hand side of the car. I think Rift is going to fight him too. And actually, Rift gets back ahead. So Rift says, no, I'm not going to play with you games. I'm going to hold my position. But looking at the steering wheel, Lindsay, he has got a lot less battery. So he's in a weaker position to defend.
Yeah, 100%. He's going to be in a lot of a sacrifice position. He does have time to recharge, but not going onto this straight. He's going to have to focus in the first sector, put the battery down to none if he wants to make this work in his efforts. Dangers also ran up the road, but still Trent Newton 5 seconds clear of him as well. But there's a little bit of weaving going on the straight here. Might have to talk to the boys about that one ahead of the actual season. But yeah, Rift just currently defending the final podium position. We are nearly 6 laps through this, onto lap 6 of this Grand Prix, as now we have ticked over that mark with Trent Newton's car, now Danger's car, and now these two are going to be side by side. Raiden showing the nose towards club corner, and I thought he had a nose alongside there. I thought he was going to try and argy-bargy his way through, just hip and shoulder, but it hasn't worked. But now into the first braking zone, he lunges down the inside to Zayden, and it's a great effort. And now he has the outside for the loop, but now Grateful Dog gets involved as well. He's on the outside of his teammate, and Moist as well in the background, looking for an opportunity to try and get through. But Rift really in a difficult position with 2 Hasses attacking him, and he has less battery to play with. So the Aston Martin in a bit of an awkward spot, as Aiden still on the hunt, and now he has the outside line at Luffield. He's trying it. He's going to cut back for the exit, but his teammate's there, and that means he sacrificed that exit when he took the wider line, but his teammate managed to get a nose in as well. And now it's all battling. It could be Haas Civil War here in a moment time, and as they head into Kopp's corner. No, not quite. They aren't going to Verstappen Hamilton it, but that is a poor run off of Kopp's corner for Grateful Dog, and now Wigged is going to try and get involved as well in the McLaren through Chapel. If he gets a good exit, he could challenge the Haas as they head through the exit. Doesn't look like it. Aiden isn't closing enough on Rift either, so a little bit stagnant here as we head towards Stowe. Will Wig just show the nose? No, he won't. Towards Vale, though. Will Raiden try the outside? He does have a good run off of Stowe corner, and now he has the outside of the Vale chicane, and it's defending the inside is Rift, and here comes Raiden on the outside, getting it done towards club corner. Fantastic overtake from the Haas driver.
Yeah, wow, that move took a long time. Rift did an absolute perfect job of defending that through left field. Actually, does he have damage? I can't tell because he's struggling so far. And actually, here comes Grateful Dog. No, he doesn't go for the inside line there. I mean, the front wing looks intact. Like, he might just be running reload downforce because Rift is sliding everywhere and he can't turn the car either. Like, he's on ice, thin ice out there at the moment. Like, he's really struggling. So Aiden's done that move. He really needed to do that. And actually, here we go. Grateful Dog on the back of Rift. Down the Wellington straight into Brooklands. Can Grateful Dog go around the outside? He can. He gets the inside line for Luffield. And I think that's going to be move done. No, it's not. Rift's going to hang it around the outside as Wicked Moist tries to get in there. But that is a move done and dusted for Grateful Dog. He now needs to get back motoring and try and keep up with his teammates in his Raiden, who's actually directly right in front of him. And this is also an opportunity. Wicked Moist. Oh, and there it goes. Rift off the road. And I think that's going to be Wicked Moist battling him into the fast section of Mackers and Beckers. And he does get that move done. Wicked Moist up to 5th. Rift has fallen to 6th place. So if I was Rift right now, I'd be considering how my tires are doing and potentially a pit stop to intermediate tires if the conditions suit. I mean, the rain looks relatively heavy, but the track looks like there's a very definitive sort of drier line, if you know what I mean, Lindsay. There's the part of the track where it looks wet, but then the racing line almost looks dry. So Trent Newton, a 43.4, he has extended that gap by 9/10 that lap. That is a staggering amount. Because Danger was actually holding on to that gap, sort of, and then actually, what's happened here? Wait, what? What's happened to Danger? Oh, he's in the pit lane, right? Sorry, I didn't see that. The pit thing didn't come up. That was confusing.
Yeah, when you have the penalty thing up on this game, it doesn't show up with the pit thing. Yeah, as Ghost speeds into the pit lane. But yeah, my consensus on Rift would be that he just has too low wing level. He had a really low wing setup for a dry race, and then it's come wet. So if I were him, as much as it might be a bit sketchy to drive, I would probably make a front wing adjustment in the pit stop.
Yeah, well, Danger actually, Linz, I don't know if you saw that, but he's put the intermediate tire on, so he's done it. He's actually taken that gamble. Danger has put inters on, but he's got the problem of he's come out right behind the Ferrari of Lockie, and he's got about 3 or 4 cars in front of him, which he has to get by. He's clears Lockie down the Wellington Straight, so that's a good thing. He needs to do that. Now he needs to get through Vipermont. He needs to get through Connor. And then he needs to use his tires and power on as much as he can, because he needs to try and make up as big of a gap as he can under the condition that the inter tire is faster. And looking at him so far, Lindsay, the inter tire looks like it's working very well. I mean, look at that! Look how much grip he's got compared to Vipermon through Cops. He just drives right around the outside of him. He wasn't through the corner, but he just drove right up to him and ran right around him. And I mean, look at Connor right in front of him. Connor is struggling so much on that wet tire. I mean, basically another dimension Danger is in at the moment. And look at this, Danger is probably just going to pass him down the hanger straight and now into Stowe. Lindsay, he made those look incredibly easy. I think this is something that the front runner should be looking at, because this intermediate tire looks to be the way to go.
Trent needs to react this lap, because he will get undercut if he's not
And the
careful.
Ferrari comes in,
only 5 seconds.
and the Red Bull.
Yeah, they've probably just seen that and
They're
gone,
all coming in.
Oh,
look.
So there's Vipermon sped into the pit lane. Yeah, everybody should be bolting in soon. Trent Newton kind of putting himself under a bit of pressure because he stayed out on the wet. He's going to need to box to inters this lap, otherwise there is a high chance he'll get undercut. I've been saying since lap 1 the inters are better. It's just the way they are, and especially with the way the track is now, they're even better. They're normally pretty equal, but they just have less wear than the wet, and then now it's just properly an intermediate track. So Trent needs to get in and get in fast, otherwise he will be caught napping here with his strategy. So Trent needs to continue to truck on here and get towards the pit lane as soon as possible, otherwise his race could be in jeopardy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm just watching him, like, look at him through Americans and Beckett's. He is sliding everywhere. He's barely making apexes. Through Brooklands and Luffield, he really struggled to get that car turned and put the power down. He is struggling. He's only, I mean, his best lap's only 3 tenths down, but he is losing grip out there comparatively because his tires are wearing. And by the way, Danger was 6 seconds behind PS Bomber about a sector ago. It's now 4 seconds.
Oh,
So, and Trent, he stays out another lap. So Danger here is on an absolute great strategy because he's getting a free undercut. The two Hasses, so this is the difficult situation, by the way, for the Hasses, is that they can't really double stack because they're going to lose a lot of time. If I was Rift, I would box now. And in fact, there goes Raiden. Aiden is running into the pit lane. Do any of the cars? No, they do not follow. So the front runners are all staying out, whereas Danger, by the way, first person on the Inter, has made up 3 seconds on PS Bomber in this lap. 3 seconds so far. It hasn't even done a full lap yet. In fact, actually, he's made up 3.5, 3.5
that's
seconds.
4 seconds quicker than Trent.
So yeah, 4 seconds a lap. So Lindsay, I was actually thinking, like,
Trent's
we say
undercut.
Trent's under threat, yeah, but we're thinking, like, I was just thinking, like, how much is Danger actually gaining though? Because Trent had a big gap, and based on that, I actually think Danger may very well be ahead of Trent now, theoretically. I mean, it depends how Trent's stop goes as well, but this isn't looking very good for Trent Newton. He's going to actually have to make an overtake by the looks of it, because Wigan Moist, by the way, and Rift have both stayed out. They should both be bidding. I mean, everyone should be bidding for intermediate tires around about now. Everyone should have seen Danger pit immediately. And also, Lindsay, Danger was 6 seconds behind 1.5 laps ago. He's just past Bomber.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, it's obvious, and Trent's been well and truly undercut at this point because you lose 30 seconds in a pit lane at
He's trying to cool the
Silverstone.
tires as well. You can see him going offline. I think he's trying to cool tires or something. I think that's a feature on the F1 game.
He needs to get into the box. He would have just seen that lap time from Danger, and yep, there he is, but he's going to be jumped, and now he has a lot of work to do because 4 seconds a lap, he only had like 5-second lead on Danger. It's not going to be enough to hold on. Danger's already heading towards Stowe. He's on the hanger straight, so Trent is going to come out P2, I think, but I think he's going to be under huge threat of not being able to close the gap, because look at that, Danger already heading into the Vale chicane, so this is going to be a crucial moment in this race. So Trent making his way towards the pit lane exit, and there is Danger 40.2. They're going to be drag racing on the
Got him.
exit. No, Danger has cleared him. Danger has gotten the position, not by as much as I thought, but he has gotten
Yeah,
it.
no.
So I thought Trent was going to be at least a few seconds back, but no, the gap is only 7/10, and now Trent has fresher tyres, so he might have actually played this pretty well, but actually maybe not, because he had a 5-second gap before. So it depends on your stance. Is it better to have a 5-second gap or have fresh tyres? I feel like I would prefer the 5-second gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Track position in especially wet conditions is crucial. And look at that there, Lindsay. The line difference between Danger and Trent. Oh my goodness me, that looks like a slide. So Danger's taking the wide line of Brooklyn's and trying to drive off, whereas Trent is taking the narrow line in and kind of cut off meters, which in the wet condition is actually not a bad strategy because you're not really trying to help yourself too much on the exits here because there isn't that much grip to use. Connor Spade gets a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, I think Trent needed at least to box about at least a lap earlier. At least. Like, a lap earlier would have been good. But I think also what held up Danger as well was that he had to overtake some cars. But, I mean, look at this. This Trent is on that new intermediate tyre is absolutely flying. He is right on the back of Danger. Can he go for a move into Stowe corner? He is using the battery. He's using the battery, using the battery. Can he go for a move into Stowe? He does go for the move into Stowe. And does he park on the apex and drive off in the lead? Yes, he does. Trent Newton, does he cover into this corner? No, he doesn't. As Danger goes down the inside and they're going to bang wheels. But it looks like Trent's got the move done. He parks it at the last part of the Vale chicane, and Trent now drives off, and he now regains that lead. But, Lindsay, you asked the question, what was better? If he had track position, he would not have needed to do that, because every time you're racing another car, there's always a risk of you having a crash. And every time you have a crash, there's a chance you damage a car, or even get out of the race. So, yeah, it's not ideal, but Trent's got a fresh. He does have a much fresher intermediate tire, so he should just drive off into the distance yet again and build as big of a gap. And everyone's racking up penalties, Lindsay. So everyone's racking them up. And Grateful Dog, by the way, has only just pitted for Inters. He has pitted way too late. Like, look, he's in 12th position. Like, he's left that way too late. Also, just to note here, Danger hasn't exactly dropped off the way I thought he would.
Yeah, Trent definitely has superior pace, but I feel like Danger has a target to chase, and he's not going to let him get away too easily. That gap currently sitting at about 0.4 of a second as they head into the high-speed S section, and he'll probably try and mount another charge, but this is the part of the track where Trent gains the time. There it is, just through the high speed, through any of the tricky parts of the circuit. There we go. He's gapped a second just like that. So now his runaway begins. This is where he's going to attempt to get away about 5 seconds again, and we have 14 laps remaining. He can probably get more than that if there's not a safety car, as Danger gets a 3-second penalty as well, but he also manages to keep his race alive after that slide. But Trent, definitely the superior driver at this point, and Trent will run away over the course of the next few laps, just maybe a bit slower than he did in the opening stage. But there we go, 39.3 fast lap of the race.
Yeah, I think there's also a big setup difference too. Look at the front two. And there's also a difference in the downforce, because Danger seems to make up all the time sort of on the straights, whereas Trent's better through the faster.
Yeah, as Jet currently behind Lockie at the moment. Ferrari versus Alpine. Jet gets another 3-second time penalty to add his total to 6 seconds at the moment. So not ideal for him as he continues to try and close in and make an overtake on the Ferrari car as we head through onto lap 13. They're both going out very to the right-hand side to pick up, well, water.
I don't really know what that was, to be honest. I don't...
He's trying to pick up water, but he's done it in a very aggressive way.
Yeah. And actually, oh, here goes Jet. Oh my goodness, he's trying to put the power down, but he's struggling for traction. He's on the back of Lockie. I think he can probably get this move done. Oh my goodness me, absolutely, he's sliding everybody. Here goes Jet, Saragi. Down the Wellington straight. I think he'll break later. I think he may get this move done. He gets it stopped, checks it up, and drives off the corner. Very nicely done. Also, sorry for cutting myself off there. What I was going to say was that I think there's also a bit of a wing difference. So, Trent, obviously, as we saw, he flies through Mackett's and Beckett's, where downforce is obviously very crucial. But then I watched down the hangar straight, and Danger made up about 3.5 tenths in a straight line without DRS. So I think there's obviously a downforce difference. But yeah, it's not going to help Danger that he's got a 3-second time penalty now. Because goodness me, he was sliding that car through Stowe.
Yeah, it usually is the way it goes. The way just big setup differences usually the way it goes. As Vipermon is battling Spicy, two tier 2 drivers from back in the day, battling it out. Spicy came later than Vipermon, by 1 or 2 seasons, but still, Vipermon, the old guard, the champion. Spicy only with one Las Vegas tier 1 win from a definitely not scripted Grand Prix. And yeah, Vipermon doing very, very well for himself at the moment. He will be tier 2 if my information is correct, or my memory is correct. So I think he'll be a good shout for the draft.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as you said, this is a mixed race between tier 1 and tier 2 drivers. So definitely, I think it's obviously going to throw a bit more shade on the tier 2 drivers because they're not running 100% against tier 2 drivers. There are some tier 1. Like, for example, the top 5, top 6, I think at least are all tier 1 drivers. That's an absolute definite. And it kind of throws a bit of shade on, like, the good sort of tier 2 drivers, if I may. Like, it does throw a bit of shade, but I think it still shows Vipermon battling with these guys. I mean, Vipermon's already pulled 2 seconds, by the way, and he's actually getting close to Connor again. So, Vipermon's got a 10-second penalty for speeding into pit lane, which is a bit unfortunate, but that can be solved pretty easily. And now he's onto the back of Connor. Can he make a move? And the front two as well, major sad, are absolutely gone. Actually, as Wicked Moist is right on the back. Actually, he's going to go. Ew, he's going for a move there, Lindsay. As down, hanger straight, Wicked Moist into 3rd place on the podium position, but 19.5 seconds behind the front two. Just kind of shows what league the front two are in, to be honest. Danger pulling in absolutely almighty strategy, and Trent has got absolutely almighty pace, especially in that first stint, pulling about 6 and a bit second gap from what I believe always Regan Moist. It's an absolute squabbling exit out of Vale into through the club corner. And, I mean, look at that. Grateful Dog is now in P13. So that just shows what pitting too late does. And if you look at the rain intensity by Lindsay, your comment on the tyres is absolutely correct because the rain intensity, from what I can see, hasn't actually changed. All they've done is just put inters on.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I've been seeing it all day during the 24 hours for mental health.
As something has happened on the pit entry, there's a yellow flag. Oh, the Haas has gotten going again as he's retired. Oh, as Grateful Dog's retired from the race.
Retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, I did see that. He stopped on the pit entry and then he tried going again, so he must have had an incident or something.
Yeah, and
I'm
also
not quite sure.
Broadstar.
Oh wait, oh, that's a yellow flag. That's Broadstar, yeah.
How did you end up out there at Stowe?
I don't exactly know, but something's happened. I mean, I don't think we can get replays or anything,
No,
so
I
we'll just have
wish
to.
Cody's were that competent.
Yeah, well, we can't ask that much of them. So he's actually hit the wall.
Yeah, I would love to know how he's done that.
The retired car is going on the circuit.
Yeah, they
Should
do
I
that.
be
They do that. They do
Oh,
that. They do
okay.
that.
Right. Well, by the way, I don't want to be a commentator cursor here, but the worst thing that could happen for Trent and Danger here is a safety car. Like, by far. That is the absolute worst thing that could happen to them right now. Well,
yeah.
actually, they could DNF out of their... Oh, actually, no. Their game could crash and they could both DNF. That would be worse. But... we're on a realistic perspective, a safety car is probably the worst thing that could happen. As Vipermon has gone past corner, as I've actually just realised, so Vipermon making good ground here. He's going to continue going forward, as Jetsaragi is also in the picture right there, so he'll try and make as many positions as he can, as another retired car has been put onto the circuit. So it's great to see that that bug has not been fixed at all, and I don't think it's intending on being fixed
They never
anytime
fix
soon.
it, because guess what? If they add actual retiring in the pit lane, they have to do a thing where you pull into the pit box, but not just the pit box, like the garage. Which means they need to do the garage model better.
Yeah. Oh, as Vipermon goes very wide through Loop, through Aintree onto Wellington Straight again. Vipermon just hanging on there, and his 10-second penalty isn't exactly being very beneficial to him right now, but it is just a preseason race. It isn't for a championship, so I don't think he'll be too bothered. And the gap between Danger and Trent is just steady right now. I think it's just fluctuating between 1.1 and 1.6 seconds because obviously it changes depending on what part of the track they're at. When they're going through Mackett's and Beckett's and Stowe, Trent absolutely pulls away. But then when they're going through Wellington Straight, Cops, even down the Hanger Straight even, pulls it all, Danger pulls a fair bit of that gap back. So it's just fluctuating at the moment. And I think Danger's going to have to try and do something to try and make up through that high-speed section. And as you did mention earlier, Lindsay, dirty air would not be helping him at all, being that dirty air of Trent Newton. But here goes Jetsaragi right behind the Ferrari of Connor, and I think Connor's not going to make it very difficult for him. Jetsaragi pulls the inside, and he gets that move done relatively easily, as Connor had maybe a little bit of sniff there to go for a switchback. But there wasn't a gap, and Jetsaragi now into 8th position.
Now, we're going to see something that just really shows you he's a go-karter, right? Just watch this. If he does it this lap. Oh, he's not doing it anymore. I think he's realized. Okay, so on the past, like, 4 straights, except for the Hanger Straight, he kept on pulling off to try and cool the tires down with the water.
To be honest,
this game
in
isn't
karts,
that good.
That's actually not what some people go the inside to do. It's actually just brake off the rubber line. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know, but the game doesn't seem... No, he was doing it down the flat-out part to try and cool the tires down.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I just don't think that
The
really
game
works,
doesn't do
but...
that.
So Danger has lost a lot of time. He's just lost like 2 seconds, Trent. So you think he's made a mistake or his tires are gone off or something. But Trent now comfortably ahead of Danger. But Danger doesn't have any threat from behind as of this moment. 20.3 seconds the gap. So staggering. And that gap between Trent and Danger is also getting high. Oh my goodness, as Royal Duck and Lockie have almost just collected each other. Ferrari and Williams battling for P10, P11. That seems pretty realistic to me. Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton, literally, right now. Ferrari sliding everywhere. Yep, that's very realistic for a Ferrari at the moment, F1. I think Maggots and Beckett's we go. And Royal Duck maybe want to go for a move here, but he seems a bit far back. As he's always down the curb. Goodness me. Has he got damage? Because he's going 4th gear and he's like barely able to turn the car. And as we go down the Hanger Straight, he's getting closer and closer and closer. Does he go for a move? No, he does not. But no, he's got his wing. I'm not exactly sure. It looks like he's just got no grip out there at the moment.
Oh, yeah, that's the wet. That's the F1 game.
Yeah, but just relatively to, like, obviously look at the guys like Trent and Danger and Lewis and whatever.
Talent.
Yeah, I guess. That makes sense. So, this later part of the race has actually been quite quiet, actually. Like, not too much unraveled. Obviously, we had the strategic part of the race, but everything's kind of settled down now because, I mean, 20 seconds between second and third. And then, obviously, look at all the gaps. I mean, there's 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 8, 4, 1 and a bit, 3, 5. I mean, this is the only on-track battle we've actually got at the moment.
Yeah, and it is quite a good one, to be fair. Royal Duck is going to be attacking now into Brooklyn's. Will he go for it? No. Yeah, he's just not able to pressure enough with the grip he has in the wet. Probably just shoot low wings on his setup to get anything done properly. But that is the way the cookie crumbles occasionally. But he does have a good run on the exit towards Cop's corner. They go now. And will he go for it at Cop's? Surely not. From the Williams driver, he does show the nose and compromise his line through the corner for it, but Lockie just not going to be phased about that one as they now head into the S's, Maggot, Beckett, and then into Chapel. And he's just got to get a good run off the corner, and he does get a good run off the corner this time. So now he'll have the slipstream, and he'll just be gaining and gaining, probably using a bit of battery as well, as I'm not sure what's happened further up. I'll take a look at it in a second. But Royal Duck gets the place. But Danger boxed again, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. He's boxed again. So
actually, wait, Lindsay, we did not discuss that. They actually they all might need to box again. I completely forgot about that. So it could be an undercut strategy. Oh, I mean, look at them all. I can't tell if they're all trying to cool tires. Like what?
That was trying to cool tires, yes.
Oh, okay, right. So, I'm not sure how much a new inter is worth, but it seems to be like a lot. I mean, so Danger lost a lot in that one lap, by the way, and then the gap kind of stayed. So I'm assuming Trent probably just used battery or just push the limits a little bit more. Because obviously when you're leading, you don't need to push it so hard. But yeah, they're all driving offline, so can it signal that as the tires get older, the temperature is also suffering a lot more? The tires get hotter? I mean, Danger has gained about half a second per lap already. on Wigan Moist, so the new Inter seems to be providing him a benefit. It seems to be relatively. I mean, if you're Trent Newton and your tires look alright, I don't see a reason why you need to pit. You can probably just stay out. Like Aiden's doing he's almost just matched his best time, so I mean, by the looks of it, I don't know if you need to pit. I mean, it's a risky thing by Danger because the thing is, right, if no one else in front of him pits, he then has to catch Wigan, pass him, and pull a 3-second gap because of the penalty he's got. I mean, but going through, especially through the technical part of the lap, actually, if you look at it, from what I can see, through Vale, through Club, Danger is actually just gaining like 6/10. So I think that new Winter is doing something for him. Just get it up to 10. And now he should just cruise up to the back of Wigan Moist and take second place off him relatively easily.
Yeah, he should, and I think we'll see that in a moment. So currently the gap sits at a second. Danger not worried, but I didn't see the need to pit because Trent is 26 seconds clear, and I know you don't because the Inter's barely where. But I guess maybe he's just going for a fast lap attempt.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. Also, Spicy is on full wet tires. In a McLaren, sir, you are not Oscar Piastri. You don't get you're not like meant to be on the bad strategy. As Danger goes wide, actually, totally through there. So Dirty Air is having its nice effect, and now he's right on the back of Wigan Moist, and I'm assuming onto the hanger straight, he should get past him easily here. So he's on the back, he's gaining a little bit. Yes, isn't gaining that much, but he's gaining a little bit and a little bit. And is he going to go from roof into Stowe? He is. And is he going to make it stick? No, he does not. So they're going to hang it together. They're going to go sub. No, they aren't. So Danger actually got ahead there. So Wigan Moist must have had a snap of oversteer there, Lindsay, because he's just driven right past him. And back into second place he goes as Rift and Aiden is Redden having a bit of squabble of their own. Rift has moved up into 4th place. And he should remain there, but he's got a 3-second time penalty. So Aiden shouldn't have to worry as Jetsaragi and Vipermon are having some sort of tussle back in 7th and 8th. Because Jetsaragi has actually just overtaken Vipermon for 7th position. So very nicely done, Jet. Jet's getting along nicely. I believe I've never seen him race F1, so I'm going to believe this is like his first or second or very new to F1 game at least. He's very new. Also Trent Newton is just pitted.
Oh, he did pit. That's surprising me actually, because the Inters basically don't wear. I've learnt that throughout the day because of the 24 hours for mental health that's going on. Basically, people put on the Inters and they don't pit the entire race.
I mean, clearly these guys think they need to because 1.5 seconds Danger is regained on him. So maybe Trent was planning on pitting and he said, right, I need to actually just pit this early and don't get undercut again. So seems to be working. I mean, he's gained 1.8 seconds on Trent through this undercut, so it seems to be working. And, oh my goodness me. Was he flat through maggots?
Yeah.
I think Trent was almost flat through maggots. Wouldn't be flat through maggots, but it sounded like he didn't lift that much. And so they're still driving off the line. So that tells me they're all suffering from overheating. But does that just say what? They've got too low tire pressure? As I'm pretty sure that's how it works in this game. Yeah. So they're all got too low tire pressure. Okay, that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay.
Not running max tire pressure is probably interesting, but I have been told that at 90% of the tracks on the game you want to run max pressures. But anyway, unimportant. But Aiden is Raiden and Rift is still kind of fluctuating. They're just sitting at 1 second, then they close up to 5/10, then they fluctuate again. But further down, Jordan, Spicy, and Com United are having a fight up the back. So as they head towards Cop's corner, that's a big snap from the McLaren on the outside. Spicy is on the wet compound tyres. So I imagine through the high speed, he probably doesn't have the grip to match these two around him. As Com United also trying to put the pressure on to the back of the McLaren. And he's trying the outside as they now head into Chapel. Spicy trying to hold on, but that's a great run from Com United, and the wet's just not working for Spicy. Would you believe it, on an intermediate grip circuit? And Com United now has the run towards Jordan that he has to make if he wants to try and gain another place, but he also has a 3-second penalty that he then has to stretch. But does Com United have the pace to overtake Jordan and then get 3 seconds? It's a really good question, and I guess we'll see.
Vipermon, something's going on turn 1. Is that, or is that Vipermon just pitted? Because
It's
Vipermon
Vipermon
just...
coming out of the pits.
Oh, okay, good. Right. Sorry, I just saw a car already saw it. I'm like, oh, what's going on there?
Anyway, so Com United in the tractor, I mean the Sauber, I mean the green tractor, I mean Sauber. There we go, got there eventually. Is pushing along, trying to close up to...
Danger got another penalty.
Yeah, to Jordan as Danger has picked up another penalty, and Trent Newton, 37.262, is still flying along at the moment. And Com United just looks so much more confident, honestly. He looks very, very confident in this race to try and get past Jordan. As just a quick update as well, for anybody following along with the event, our very own Oceania's J-Rad is currently sitting P4 in the 24 Hours for Mine charity event at Melbourne. So, for anybody who's following that or cares, a lot of the drivers from our community are taking part in that, and we've been doing pretty well. But anyway, Com United still on the hunt, and he just looks like he's the quicker car at the moment comfortably. So it's only a matter of time before he gets by, but it's very wide from him through Chapley. He has to cut the corner, and that is Connor retiring from the session. I do believe he's just retired without pulling into the pits, but I don't think we're going to get a safety car, otherwise it would have popped already. As, yeah, it's just pulled off to the side at Club. That sacrifices Com United. If he did have a good run, he can't overtake through there because yellow flags. But, yeah, so we're heading towards lap number 23 of this race. And Trent looking like he's having a good time, I think. Actually, no, sorry, we're heading towards lap 24 of this Grand Prix. So Trent's heading through Vale, so he's coming up to lap people. He's lucky there's only 3 laps to go, otherwise, what, another 15 seconds up the road, and there's more cars to start lapping, so that could have been a problem. But Trent across the line to start lap 24 now. So he only has 2 more laps to go. And what has been a masterclass of a drive will be completed. But something else to keep note of here. Danger, 6 seconds worth of penalties. Wigged, only 7.7 behind. We know Danger is quicker. So as long as he doesn't make a mistake, he should hold on to P2. But he's definitely making it harder on himself than it needs to be.
Look, Lindsay, that gap was 4.7 about 2 laps ago, so I don't really have any concerns for Danger, as you said. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, he should cruise home very nicely. And we were talking about how they may or may not have had to pit. At this stage, by the way, so the gap before the pit stops happened, Danger to Wigan Moist was 20.3 seconds. It's only 8.2. So if Wigan Moist actually just like hangs around like 10 seconds, then theoretically, Danger and Trent didn't actually need to pit at all. Like, they probably just did it because Danger probably just took a gamble on trying to pit and gain something out of it. And to be fair, it forced Trent to pit too, but Trent's just had more pace this entire race. And as we were talking about too, like, you just gotta think, like, everyone started on that full wet tire, and now they're on inters, but the intensity of the rain doesn't seem to have actually changed. So it just makes you think, what if someone was bold enough to actually go onto that inter tire to start the race? Would there be more pit stops? Would the order be different? Who knows? But the field is quite spread out at the moment, so not much happening. I mean, Vipermon's right on the back of Lockie, and Vipermon served his 10-second penalty, by the way, so he's now going just straight forward position, as Jordan and Com United are going for it themselves. Not sure where on the track they are, I believe, yeah, going down Wellington Straight. Okay. So Vipermon trying to make a move here on Lockie, because Vipermon's obviously got that brand new intermediate tyre. I think the intermediate tyre, I mean, it doesn't seem to be wearing much, but you get a lot out of it being just brand new. The time drop-off is big, but you can make them last a very long time. So now, going through Cop's Corner, Lockie just in front of Vipermon. And, oh, as Vipermon has gone very wide through Cop's Corner there. You can't go that wide, sir. You need to stay within those white lines, or else MBS might start to get mad at you and start finding you. So let's not do that, please.
Or he'll deduct points.
Yeah, he may deduct points. That could be true. Down, here we go. Hang it straight. Vipermon on the back of Lockie. I think this should be relatively... No, it won't be relatively easy because Lockie's going to defend. Vipermon is stuck behind him for one more corner. Through Stoke Corner. Look at that dirty air. He's struggling to the car a lot. Now on the run to Vale. Does he want to go for a move? Do not do what happened between Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen in 2019. Yep. The only problem with that is that they're the other way around because the Red Bull was the one that got rear-ended, I believe.
I can't remember,
Yes.
honestly.
Yes. No, it was. Yeah. No. Yep. Sorry. Vettel ran into Verstappen. Yes. That's what happened.
Yeah, anyway, as this battle continues on, Trent Newton is about to start the final lap of the Grand Prix, so we'll cut back to him in a couple of moments' time, but for the moment, we'll stay locked on this battle as Vipermon very close behind Lockie here in the dying stages. The penultimate lap for him as Trent Newton now across the line to begin the final lap, but Vipermon pushing hard, can't quite find a way past. He has another lap to go as well after this one that he can use to his disposal to try and get past, but time is of the essence here for Vipermon. He needs to get a move on very, very quickly. Oh, there we go. That's basically battle done and dusted there. That is a big time loss for Vipermon. He now sits 8/10 away. No, it's not over, but it makes his job a lot harder. I thought he was completely gone when I said that's him down and out, but he manages just to collect it back up. But, oh, and Lockie must have made a mistake. Vipermon's right there again. So this battle well and truly on here as they head through the dying stages. A lap 25 for them. Trent Newton currently halfway through lap 26 of 26. So Vipermon heading towards Stowe. Is he going to have one last late lunge on lap 25? No. So we'll go to Trent Newton. He's heading through the middle sector. He didn't qualify on pole position. He had a bit of a bottle when it came to the qualifying session, and it was not ideal. But Trent then had a good start, moved up into P2, then got the lead very quickly. And in the wet-soaked Silverstone, he's driven an absolutely superb drive. He had a 15, not a 15, he had like a 10-second gap, made a mistake with his strategy, got the lead again, got 5 seconds again, and then now he finds himself victorious as he rounds the final corner now through Club Corner in the preseason for ORL. Trent Newton wins in Silverstone and sets the fastest lap of the race to boot. Trent Newton taking the win nice and comfortably. Danger comes home in P2 from Wig P3, but we'll go back to Vipermon now as he's still in the hunt as they head through Lovefield,
Close.
as they're still pushing, and as they head towards Stowe Corner, will Vipermon try a, not Stowe, Cops Corner, will Vipermon try a Cops Corner move? No, he won't. And he goes off the track as well. Hopefully he doesn't get a track limits penalty. No, he doesn't. So this is a pure fight with a sector to go here, and this is going to be for P9. This is for what is only one place better, but one place is better than no places at the edge of the top 10. This is the edge of the points places if this was the actual season, and Vipermon's on the hunt with the slipstream. He tries the inside, doesn't go for the inside. Can he try the outside? No, he's going to have to wait for Vale. He's going to have to get a great run on the exit. Vipermon still on the hunt, pulls to the left-hand side. He goes down the inside of the Vale chicane, and he gets it done with one corner to go. Vipermon will come home in P9 over Lockie in the Ferrari. It was the last possible moment, but it's worked well for him. Lockie comes home in P10. Jordan will come home in P11. He'll be the last car to cross the line in this race. So Trent Newton wins from Danger, then Wigged, Rift, Aiden is Raiden, Bomber, Jet, Royal Duck, Vipermon, Lockie. We'll read through the rest in a moment, but that was an absolutely great race.
Well, it was, to be honest, it was quite boring through the middle part of it, but at the start, it was a very interesting race, at least, with the strategy playing out. And yes, obviously in qualifying, Trent didn't quite perfect the qualifying, but I think that race demonstrated quite perfectly. If there's a little bit of wet weather, I don't think where you qualify really matters that much. If you're the best driver in the wet weather, it becomes quite easy for you. And look at that. 1.5 seconds better of a lap time over Danger Trent had. 37.0 to a 38.5. That is a staggering amount quicker. And the gap at the end actually does show. Winning by, obviously, there was a penalty, but on time, it was about 6 seconds, roughly. About 6 or 5 seconds. After penalties, it's about 11 seconds, just under. So yes, very dominant performance by Trent Newton, and that's going to make him look very good for tonight's draft.
Yeah, it definitely will. So your final order is Trent from Danger, then Wigged, Rift, Raiden, Bomber, Jet, Duck, Vipermon, Lockie, Jordan, Spicy, Com United, Ghost, Gibbsy, Connor, Broadster, and Grateful Dog. So, because we don't have post-race interviews in preseason, or at least I'm not going to do them, that is going to be all for tonight's ORL racing action. We thank you very much for watching. I've been Lindsay Model, joined by Geordie Slater in the commentary box. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you later tonight